Hey there, viewers. So, just the other day, a customer gave me a great idea for a video. They were just an older couple, like a older lady and I guess her husband. So they were just picking up their car from the parking lot, and they saw me, came up to me and asked me, how do I know what kind of services I need on my vehicle? Because, a lot of times the advisor is just trying to upsell you and everything, right? And my simple answer is your car literally will tell you what services you need. So this video is all about what services are on your Hondas and how your vehicle will tell you what services you need as they pop up. So simple enough. This is a Civic, 10th generation Civic. If you have older ones, you'll have instead of like the A or 0, which is your oil change. Oh, actually, let's do this. This one's due for an A19, which is a B service, because on your older cars, service symbols are different on the older vehicles compared to the newer ones, because they went away from the B service and just separated it. So your A19 is basically your oil change, tire rotation, and your inspection, brake service, which is your 9. And you can go through, for example, this is your Civic, 10th gen Civic. You have all the your A would be oil change, 1 tire rotation, 2 air filters, 3 transmission fluid, 4 spark plugs, which is also your valve adjustment, 5 is your engine coolant, brake fluid is 7, 9 is your brake surface and chassis inspection. The only thing that's not on here is if you have an all-wheel drive, there's also a sub symbol 6, which is rear diff fluid, which this does not have all-wheel drive, so it won't have it on there. So just to show you what symbols will pop up on your dash and tell you what services you need. And in this video, I'm just gonna just a quick go through on what you're looking at when you're doing these services, like where your air filter is, transmission fluid, doing your spark plugs, engine coolant, and all that kind of stuff. But this is just going to be a general video of all the maintenance and how these maintenance will pop up on your dash. So if you don't know when your service is due, literally your car will tell you. So for your A service and your symbol 0, why there is 2 is because for the symbol 0, technically you're only supposed to just change the oil, but here we do both. We change the filter and the oil for the A service and the symbol 0, because Honda wants you to change the filter every second oil change for whatever reason. But either if it's an A or a 0, we just change the oil and the filter, because the A is an oil and filter, the 0 is just the oil. But you're saving $10 for an oil filter. Why not just do both? Yeah, try saying that to the customer. We're only going to change your oil. Yeah, oil changes is something I think everybody should be able to do on their own vehicles. Maybe not my pregnant wife. All right, for your tire rotation, which is your symbol 1, here at the dealership, we don't actually charge for tire rotations because it's part of your B service. So you will never have to pay for a tire rotation if you follow your regular maintenance schedule that comes up on your dash, and if you're doing it at the dealership. Well, our dealership anyways. At our dealership, we don't charge for tire rotation if you follow your regular maintenance schedule that comes up on your dash. So every time he comes in for a B service or a sub symbol 9, it's already part of your service. So you will never have to pay for a tire rotation. I can't speak the same for other shops, but that's how we generally do it here. But before you rotate your tires, you want to check the tread. And this one has 730 seconds on the front. And then this one is at 430 seconds. So literally the front tires are better than the rears, and you don't need to rotate them. But if you were to rotate them, I just usually do it from front to back, right? So you rotate the front tires to the back, and then the back goes to the front. And that's all you need to do. All right, for your symbol 2, which is engine air filter and cabin filter, you don't always need a filter. What I like to do is you inspect it and see if it needs it. So we're on a Honda Accord today, so this one where the air filter is right here. So what you want to do is you want to pop it out, right? And then have a look at it. Well, okay, this one's pretty dirty. And then a lot of times you just look it up in the air and see if you can see light through it, but it's you don't see anything. But it does look pretty. It looks dirtier in person than it does on video. So that one I would recommend an air filter. And then also your cabin filter, which is inside the car. I'll show you where that is. Just a general idea of where it is and where to check. Inside here, this cabin filter is behind a glove box. What you want to do is you squeeze the side. Sometimes they have a little dampener like this guy. Pop it off. Like that. So that's off. I just removed the contents out of the glove box. And then this one should be right here. Usually when they're black like that and the filter is not white anymore, I usually recommend replacing it. But you can pull it out. You can see a bunch of junk on top. Don't let that stuff fall into the blower motor because it's going to make some noise. And yeah, that's your cabin filter. So I would recommend this too. A lot of times if there's a bunch of stuff like, you know, your pollen and like leaves and stuff, you might get a, you know, earthy smell. So that's how you get to your cabin filter on your sub symbol 2 service. So for your sub symbol 3, on your older Hondas that have a dipstick, dipsticks are usually right here. Right, you can check your level, you can fill it from here. And then the drain plug is usually, you know, in the same general location underneath the car. On your new vehicles where there's no dipstick, you'll be using a level check plug. Alright, so transmission fluid. You got a drain plug. Older ones will have a dipstick, the new ones will have a level check plug. But if you need a video for your vehicle on how to do a specific Honda transmission fluid change, leave a comment down below. I'll probably respond to that, and then I'll locate you to the proper video, because usually the CVTs are usually all the same. And then other than the 9-speed and the 10-speed, those are you know, different. And then you got your regular, you know, 5-speed, 6-speed, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, go in the comments if you need to know how to change your transmission fluid. I'll bring you to your video. So on your sub symbol 4, pretty straightforward on the 4 cylinders. They're, you know, your spark plug replacement, valve adjustment, and you replace the valve cover gasket. I'll explain why is it important to do your valve adjustments. On your V6s, same thing. You do your spark plugs, you do your valve adjustment, replace the valve cover, but you have two banks to do. You're also replacing the timing belt, you're inspecting water pump, or replacing the water pump, and any additional stuff that you see along the way, like your oil pump is leaking. Usually, you know, after so many kilometers or miles, that rubber O-ring on that oil pump gets hard and dry and they start leaking, so it's a good time to do that too. The importance of doing your valve adjustment is because, one, when they're too loose, they make a clattering noise. And then if they're too tight, you can also get check engine lights for lean, rich code, even misfires because the cylinder is not sealing properly. Not only that, the valves actually cool by contact of the cylinder head, so the cylinder head dissipates the heat from the valves, and it helps prevent burning up valves, because we do get cars that do burn up valves where they have a hole. I have a couple videos, especially on older cars. They burn up the valves and they you know, create a little hole or whatever, and you completely lose compression in that one cylinder. So the importance of that is the importance of doing your valve adjustments, not only for noise, you know, drivability issues, but also to help dissipate the heat from the intake and exhaust valve from burning up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so for your sub symbol 5, which is your coolant replacement, generally it will come up on the dash at 165,000 kilometers, which is like around 100,000 miles. But for some reason, on a coolant bottle that you're using to replace, right, Honda Type 2 coolant, if you read the back, it says coolant gives you full protection for 100,000 kilometers or 5 years. So I don't know how how that happens, but I don't know. I guess you're talking to two different people here, the manufacturer and then the manufacturer of the coolant. You know, one says one thing and one says the other. But generally, when your maintenance reminder shows up with the sub symbol 5 on your dash is around 165,000 kilometers, which is 100,000 miles. But I guess if you want to go by the coolant bottle, that tells you to do it at 100,000 kilometers, or I think 65,000 miles, or 5 years. Then yeah, you can do that too. All right, so got a 2025 Honda HR-V with 22,000 kilometers, roughly about 15,000 miles, in for a sub symbol 6, and you're wondering, why did that symbol come up so early on the dash? And that's because of braking. Just like anything, your engine has to break in, even your differentials also have to break in. But when it's breaking in, it creates a lot of material in the fluid, and they want to get rid of it. And just to show you, because the magnet can't, once it's full, it doesn't actually collect very much after. So that's what the magnet looks like. And that's only at 22,000. And then, yeah, after the first change, I think it's roughly around 50,000 kilometers after that. So you can see all the material that's on the magnet. So this is why they want you to change the fluid so early when the symbol comes up on the dash. So magnet's nice and clean, ready to collect more material on that magnet till the next change. And then all you got to do is fill this up through this fill hole until it starts trickling out. This service is actually pretty easy for people who can get underneath the car. All you need is just like a 3/8 drive to pop the fill plug and the drain plug, and something to use to fill it up with. I just use a pipe and then poke a hole into the bottle and then blow compressed air into it, and it just puts fluid back into it. And this is what that looks like. I just got a little, pipe into the bottle on top of the cap, poke a little tiny hole on the top of the bottle, and then just use the compressed air to blow into that hole, and it'll just fill it up. So you just want to fill it up until it starts trickling out of the fill plug, and that's your level. All right, for your sub symbol 7, which is your brake fluid replacement, what we typically do is we suck out the fluid out of the reservoir, and then we also suck out the fluid from each individual calipers from the bleed screw to change all your fluid out. Why it is important to change your brake fluid is because brake fluid itself is hygroscopic. It loves to absorb moisture. What happens when you absorb enough moisture, brake fluid has a higher boiling point than water, because water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, and your brakes do get hot. And what happens when water boils? It becomes a gas, right? Gas is compressible, liquid isn't. So you might notice you get a spongy pedal, especially if you're towing or you're off-roading and you're going down a hill and you're overheating your brakes, and then you lose all brake pedal. It's not a good feeling. I've had that happen before. But yeah, so it is important to change your brake fluid. Just go by the maintenance reminder on the dash, or 3 years is what I usually change it at. And as you can see, it does get pretty nasty when you don't change it. That is like, because algae likes to grow in moist and damp environments. That's basically what that is in your brake fluid reservoir. On your sub symbol 9, or part of your B service, so what we do is we service your brakes. And why do you need to service your brakes? Well, we just want to make sure your brakes last as long as it can, right? But some people, not everybody will service their brakes, because when they wear out, you just replace them. But for example, this is a CRV hybrid. Number one complaint on these things is brake noise. It squeals when you're going forward and it hums going backwards. So a little extra care of servicing your brakes, because they always complain about brake noise on these CRV hybrids and also your Civic hybrids. So what I do while I service your brakes is I make sure your slide pins on your calipers are clean and new grease goes on it. I specifically scuff up the rotors on the CRV hybrid because the customers complain on this is squealing noises, and it makes a humming noise when you're backing up, especially when it's raining. It happens mostly on it's raining. It's number one complaint. And also what I do is I chamfer the rear brake pads, because they don't come chamfered. So you just get a little bit of sandpaper, and then I just scuff it up on an angle to chamfer them. I don't know why they don't do it on the back, but they do it on the front. I guess they use the same brake pads as the non-hybrid or the gasoline model. They use the same brake pads. but the, you know, gasoline models, they use the brakes more often than the hybrids because the hybrids have regenerative braking, and the brakes on these things are basically at holding the vehicle in place and, you know, applying when it's about to come to a complete stop. That's basically it. So they do make noise, especially when they don't get enough heat in them to burn off the moisture that's on the rotors. These are actually still wet because it's raining outside. So that's basically it. So if you ever want to do your brake service, you know, this is how, you know, we do it. We just clean up your, you know, contact areas on the brackets, lube the slide pins. I chamfer the pads because, you know, specifically for brake noise, especially when they're in for a complaint. Yeah, I just scuff up the rotors just to get rid of, like, you know, the surface glaze on it. Hopefully that'll help with brake noise. The best time to do your brake service is after the winter time, after all the salt and all that kind of stuff. That's when I like to do my brake servicing. After the winter, you know, when all the salt is gone on the road, and yeah, that's the best time. But other than that, that's pretty much the end of this video. It took me a while because I think it's been a year because I don't do much service work. I do stuff like re-and an engine. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video.